Imagine you're watching a reality show. You expect the usual drama: love triangles, shady brunches, and cast members throwing subtle shade at each other. But what if the real drama wasn't happening in front of the cameras? What if the real story was being written behind the scenes, so tightly controlled that even the cast didn't realize they were just players in someone else's script? That's exactly what Martell Holt says happened to him. He's been quiet for years, letting people paint him as the villain. He watched his name trend online for all the wrong reasons, while everyone else got redemption arcs, applause, and brand deals. But all of that changed during a recent Instagram Live, when Martell spoke 7 words that shook the internet: "Y'all forgot I got a story too." It wasn't just a rant. He came prepared with screenshots, voice notes, and what he called digital receipts. He wasn't just calling out one person. He was coming for everyone: Sunni, Marsau, the producers, and even bloggers. According to him, this wasn't reality TV. It was reputation destruction wrapped in entertainment. Let's start with Sunni. You've probably seen her rise. One day she's barely noticeable, and the next she's the face of empowerment, the underdog turned fan favorite. But Martell claims that rise didn't happen naturally. He called it manufactured relevance. In his version, Sunni's storyline was engineered by producers and backed by Marsau. Her glow-up wasn't a comeback. It was a calculated move to build her brand while tearing his down. And the part that really hurt? He trusted her deeply. During the roughest times in his divorce, he says Sunni was the one person he opened up to, sharing things he never told the cameras. Private, personal stuff. And he believes she used that information to craft a more compelling storyline for herself. Next came Marsau. He's always had this smooth, polished vibe, like the guy who walks away clean no matter how messy things get. But Martell claims that's no accident. He says Marsau made a behind-the-scenes deal: more screen time and even a spin-off, if he played along with the producer's version of the story. The deal? Martell gets cast as the angry, unstable ex-Marsau becomes the successful businessman. Then Martell dropped the bomb about the producers. According to him, they filmed tons of scenes where he came off thoughtful, reflective, even remorseful. But none of that aired. Instead, they used every clip that made him look aggressive or bitter. He says they intentionally shaped the story to fit a narrative: he was the villain, Sunni was the hero. And when he pushed back, they allegedly threatened to cut him from the show if he didn't follow the script. That's when he says he realized the show wasn't about truth. It was about control. Control over who gets to be the hero, who gets to be the fool, and who gets written out altogether. But it goes deeper than just bad editing. Martell says he found out about secret deals, private meetings, and entire storylines being bought and sold like products. He believes Sunni wasn't just playing along, she was helping run the show from behind the curtain. That sweet, emotional post she once made "some men just can't handle powerful women" wasn't just shade. According to him, it was a direct shot, meant to paint him as insecure and controlling. And she knew exactly what she was doing. He shared a message she once sent him during the heat of all this: "Let Marsau handle it. You need to lay low." For Martell, that wasn't advice, it was confirmation. He realized they weren't just playing the game, they'd already written the ending, and he was the casualty. He says Sunni was suddenly aware of casting decisions, upcoming scenes, even storylines before they were approved. And when she delivered emotional breakdowns on screen, they weren't spontaneous. They were encouraged, even rewarded. According to Martell, she got extra money and more airtime when she gave producers the big, dramatic moments they wanted. But the wildest twist? Martell claims he accidentally received a contract draft not meant for him. A production assistant sent it to the wrong inbox. In that document, he says there was a clause offering bonus pay for sticking to the approved storyline and following a specific character arc. To him, it confirmed what he feared all along: this wasn't real life. It was a scripted show where only a few people knew what was truly happening. He wasn't the star anymore. He was the scapegoat. And he says Sunni knew. She just chose to play smarter. Martell also pointed fingers at the media. According to him, some bloggers were getting paid to post positive stories about Sunni and Marsau while dragging him through the mud. He claims the reason he became the constant target of drama wasn't just bad luck, it was money. Good press was being bought, not earned. He hasn't dropped all the receipts yet, but he says they're coming: emails, screenshots, maybe even unseen footage. Stuff that doesn't just call out individuals, but exposes an entire system built on manipulation. Then came the part that hit deepest: Marsau. Martell's voice cracked when he spoke about him. He called Marsau a brother, not just a castmate, not just a colleague. They shared family moments, holidays, and late-night talks, long before cameras were even involved. But according to Martell, Marsau sold that bond for a production deal and a cleaner image. He says Marsau knew the producers were twisting Martell's story. Knew they were cutting out scenes that showed growth. Knew they were shaping him into a one-note villain. And instead of stepping in, Marsau went along with it. Even approved the edits. And then came what might be the biggest reveal. Martell claims Marsau was offered a spin-off show, but only if he stayed clean, stuck to the producer's storyline, and didn't defend Martell. The producers, Martell says, wanted a new power couple to lead the next phase of the franchise. Marsau and Sunni were perfect for it. Martell? He needed to be phased out, not by firing him, but by making him so unlikable that even fans would want him gone. This wasn't just about storylines. It was about money. Who gets the brand deals? Who gets the contracts? Who becomes the face of the franchise and who gets buried? Martell also talked about how even fans turned on him. The same people who used to root for him were now making memes, laughing at his pain, calling him names. What they didn't see, he says, was how deep that pain went. The sleepless nights. The real mental toll. And how his most vulnerable moments were edited into entertainment while his attempts to grow or explain were left on the cutting room floor. Now, Martell says he's taking action. Not for revenge, but for accountability. He's building a legal team. He says he has recordings, private footage, and more documents, things that show not just personal betrayal, but a toxic system that profits off people's pain. He ended the live with a line that stuck with viewers: "They used my pain to sell stories. But now I'm telling mine." Whether people believe him or not, one thing is certain: Martell isn't playing by their rules anymore. He's stepping off the stage, calling out the ones behind the curtain, and if his evidence is as real as he says, the show might never be the same again. So, after everything Martell shared, after all the voice notes, the screenshots, the accusations, and the behind-the-scenes drama, one thing is clear: this is no longer just about a reality show. This is about a man who says his real life was twisted into a storyline, and now he's fighting to take his voice back. Whether you believe every word he said or think there's more to the story, you can't deny the emotion behind it. Martell isn't just pointing fingers, he's exposing what he believes is a machine that profits from real people's pain, their relationships, their breakdowns, and their most vulnerable moments. And what makes this even more intense? He says there's still more to come. He claims to have contracts, recordings, emails, all proof that what we've been watching wasn't reality at all, but a carefully crafted narrative where some were given halos and others were handed villain scripts. And if what he's saying is true, the fallout could be huge, not just for the cast, but for the entire production team. Now, here's where it gets really real. Martell says this isn't about clout. It's not about getting back on TV. It's about reclaiming his side of the story. He admits he's made mistakes, he's not playing the victim. But he's also not staying silent while others cash in on his pain. What makes this moment even more powerful is how relatable it is. So many people, whether in media or in everyday life, know what it feels like to be misunderstood, misrepresented, or even used by people they once trusted. And that's why Martell's story is hitting so many people differently right now. He ended his live with the line, "They used my pain to sell stories, but now I'm telling mine." And honestly, that line might just change the entire conversation around this show and its cast. So the question now is, what happens next? Will Martell drop the rest of the receipts? Will the network respond? Will any of the cast members speak out, or will they try to ride the wave in silence, hoping the noise dies down? Whatever happens, one thing is certain: we're all watching now with a different lens. And if Martell keeps his promise to release everything, the next chapter might not just break the internet, it might blow the whole show wide open. So if you've been following this story, stay tuned. This isn't over. In fact, it might just be the beginning. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments, do you believe Martell? Or is this just another twist in the reality TV game? Until next time, stay real and remember, there's always more to the story than what you see on screen. Whatever happens, one thing is certain: we're all watching now with a different lens. And if Martell keeps his promise to release everything, the next chapter might not just break the internet, it might blow the whole show wide open. So if you've been following this story, stay tuned. This isn't over. In fact, it might just be the beginning. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know in the comments, do you believe Martell? Or is this just another twist in the reality TV game? Until next time, stay real and remember, there's always more to the story than what you see on screen.